All right, everyone, it's a full moon outside. Beautiful, beautiful time. And we got a beautiful tune from Erynn. She composed this years ago for some folks in England. And I've always liked this tune. It's not that hard to grab. It's 3 parts in the key of C, Juniper Branch.
For Kevin and Corinne, Shannon.
Okay, yeah, and so I've always liked playing it ever since, and it's great on every instrument, so it's you can't beat that. So we'll give it a go on the guitar backup here in the key of C, Juniper Branch. Juniper
Something
Branch.
like that.
That's a great tune. I can hear a banjo, and there's not even a banjo playing it.
I think it's fun for the guitar player, isn't it?
It's very fun.
Okay,
very
good.
Fun. That's a great tune. Thank you, Erynn. We'll jump into the backup of it there. Key of C is always a fun key, I think. You can't help but smile when you're playing the key of C, so we'll see if it happens. If you're not smiling yet, it may happen before we're done. So the first part, first of all, we told you it's 3 parts. And again, the first part is mainly just C and G, and the second part goes around the horn. Erynn was saying in her fiddle video, C, F, and G, and you might play a G7, and the third part goes to A minor, and then uses a C and G chord there. So they're all fun. They stay in sort of the same territory melody-wise. So the first part is let's just look at, and of course, just think about your bass walks. You can walk up from below to the root of the chord, or above, down to the root. So we got 2 choices. So on this one, I think I'm going to start. I started on the 5th string up to C, open 2 and 3. Now you can just dance that bass on the C chord. So that's my maneuver getting to C there. And then we could do the same thing on G or G7. So that's the basics, the way the first part's going to work. We'll do that first, and we might do some other, talk about some different ways to walk there. So the first part, just C, and it gets to G, and C and G again. So the first part's pretty handy. And we'll just do that walking up to the roots. On the 5th string, open 2, 3, dance the bass, and then a low string for G, and maybe alternate to the 5th string. So that'll be our first plan. And walk up to C at the end. So that's the first part. Da, 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 da. You can alternate the basses. Get those walks in there at the start of the chord. It's kind of fun. And she has some different endings the second time around. It's the same chords, but notice what you can do is outline a little melody. And I always like to mention you don't have to walk to the root of the chord. You could go like you could do, since we're staying in the, so you could add more walks, go up to the middle note of the chord too. I wasn't doing that in the video, but you can do that. That'd be nice too. And one thing to keep in mind is how fast she plays this one pretty fast sometimes. So the less, you might do less bass walking or less fancy stuff, so to speak. So the first part, one thing is kind of fun to do too is you can double up on a note sometimes. You don't want to do it too much, but you get the concept there. That'd be hard to do if she's going faster. repeats. I'll just alternate the bass this time without walks, and that sounds good too. Maybe one walk. Okay, the second part. So it's nice to maybe walk into the start of the tune and it repeats. Maybe do it each time. But remember, you don't have to walk the bass. You can just alternate to another chord. Their second part is going to be C, and the F chord comes in. I want to walk on the fourth string. We'll keep our same plan. Up to F. You can dance that bass there. G back to C. Do 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 do. Sometimes I like that G7. So that's the second part, and we'll go through it all a couple more times to get our bearing. The third part is where it goes to A minor, back to C, A minor, to the G, and back to C. So that's a nice dramatic turn, and that's where I really love that little, say I'm in the C chord dancing the bass, you can go from that third fret, 6th string, and put a little bluesy walk up to A minor, 3, 4 on the bass, 6th string, back to C, and alternate or you can walk down to that A minor, like that's more conventional. Go back the way you went down. Reverse the pattern. And there's another thing I like to do sometimes: walk down to bluesy walk to G, that same territory when you climbed up dramatically from that G bass to the A. So let's try that third part, and then we'll do the whole tune one time. So I'm going to that A minor with the bluesy walk. And the 5th string to C. Now I'll walk on the 5th string. And maybe that bluesy walk to G just for. Don't have to walk all the time. A minor, you can just go without any walks too. Keep that in mind. They're all good. But I do like that bluesy walk. You could do a long walk. First part. Do do do. Walks, that works too good. A lot of options. Little melody chair right there. Second part around the horn, C, F, and a G chord of some kind, C. Just that twice. Just gonna repeat that second part. I like a C7 sometimes for a little dramatic. You can do a long walk to F. Why not? Even go up high. Back to C. A minor, get there one way or another. G goes back, repeat this is the third part. Maybe double up here and there, surprise yourself. First part. Goes and G, you could do just more bass notes. Here's that second part around the horn. Bluesy. Just gonna repeat that second part. Third part's coming up, dance the bass and the bluesy walk up to A minor and up to C. Maybe 5th string walk down to A minor. We got the G back to C to finish off. We're gonna repeat that third part. And you might do a tag, some kind of C maneuver. Maybe C and a G and around the horn. Juniper Branch. One thing I will mention too, it has such a nice, on the first part, if you went up on that 4th string, you can do something like this. That's the melody territory. that's a nice little higher sounds. That do 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 do. That little territory. You're getting the melody there a little bit. So experiment with that melody territory. Slides are good. So I think you'll find it's pretty easy to play. Another thing to try would be capoing up to the 5th fret, which would be really pretty, and play it. Why don't we do it right quick so we get just a couple of minutes. So I'll go up to the 5th fret and play out of a G shape, and that way we're going to be sounding in the key of C, but thinking in the key of G. So that A minor chord is going to be an E minor shape up here. So we got G chord and a D chord. It's going to be prettier up here. It'll be kind of high, but I think it might be pretty. G shape and a D chord, maybe a thumb hook back to the second part. G to a C and D back to G. 1 chord to 4 chord. So you get different bass walks ideas when you change your position. Shape in this case, and to a D back to G position. That's beautiful. So that'd be a nice thing. Had 2 guitars, it'd be great to have one doing this and one doing the open position. Beautiful, Juniper Branch. So I know you're going to enjoy playing this tune of Erynn's. She's made up a lot of great tunes, and this one sounds like an old string band tune, I think. And when you get a whole band, the bass and the banjo and everything on fiddle, it really is wonderful. So I'm sure you'll enjoy it, and I'll see you next time. Keep on picking that guitar and whatever else you got around the house there. Take care.